What's up, guys? This is part two of our main topic, airplane stability. The position of the CG, or center of gravity, will determine the plane's stability. The position of the CG will determine the plane's stability. So let's take a look at these three examples. And before I move on, let's talk about the word stability. And stability means, in simple words, the ability of the aircraft to return to its original place, to its original position, after being disturbed. After being disturbed. So let's take a look at this example right here. We have an aircraft and the CG is in the aft of the aircraft, meaning in the back part of the airplane. And it says here aft CG. So let's take a look at three characteristics of an airplane having a CG placed in the back of the plane. So in this case, it says nose light. So meaning that the nose is going to be easy to pitch up. Why? Because the CG is in the back, meaning there's more weight in the back. Hard to recover from stalls. Hard to recover from stalls, meaning the point where the wings are not generating enough lift for the airplane to stay airborne. And shorter takeoff roll. And this is understandable. Why? Because the plane is easily pitching up. So that's why it says here shorter takeoff roll. Now let's take a look at forward CG. Let's take a look at these three examples. So here we can definitely tell that the CG was in the back because the plane is almost pitching up. It is pitching up. And here we have forward CG, meaning the center of gravity is in the front part of the airplane. And it says nose heavy. Nose heavy. So that's why the plane is it's pointing down because the weight is focused on the front. Hard to rotate on takeoff. Completely understandable because when we're trying to take off, what we're trying to do is pretty much pull on the controls so the airplane can pretty much begin its process of lift. But because we have too much weight in the front, well, that's going to be an obstacle on our way. And worst climb performance. It's very related to the second point that I just spoke about. Why? Because of the weight in the front of the plane, in the forward part of the plane. Now let's take a look at this plane right here. It doesn't seem to be struggling at all. CG within limits. Within limits CG, meaning that the center of gravity is pretty much centered. And an example of an airplane having its CG centered, well, we can tell that definitely the plane is not struggling like these two planes right here. And let's take a look at the points, the characteristics of an aircraft with the CG within limits. Point number one, better performance. You're not going to be struggling to take off or land. Why? Because the CG is within limits. Reduce pilot work. So in these two situations, well, the planes are airborne, but the pilot is pretty much putting a lot of pressure in the controls. Why? Because of the CG. And that is causing the plane to, in simple words, not be stable while flying it. So you are going to fly the plane, but it is going to be a bit of a challenge flying a plane like that. And stable. Yeah, the most obvious one. In this case, the plane is not too nose heavy. It is not too nose light. It's pretty much easier to control compared to these two aircrafts right here. So again, let's go back to the beginning where I said the position of the CG will determine the plane stability. The position of the CG will determine the plane stability. We can see in the first example, where it says aft CG, well, it is going to be a little challenging to fly that plane, right? And the same thing with the CG and the forward CG. I mean, It is going to be a challenge to fly that plane. And this one right here, where the CG is within limits, well, it's definitely going to be easier for us to fly. Why? Because the CG is centered, meaning we have better performance, reduced pilot work, and the plane is stable.